This is the Simpli Sisters Podcast. Girl, get in here, settle down, settle in, take up space and breathe. Come in this safe space where we believe in the power of sisterhood. We encourage truth and dialogue that promotes peace, clarity, and freedom. Join us here for conversations for the soul because there is so much to talk about.
Hello, and welcome to Simpli Sisters Podcast. I'm Simpli Tammy.
And I'm Coach Gayl Benson.
And today our topic, especially for you, is when becoming sounds beautiful but feels so uncomfortable. And this is a great topic because a lot of us want to change and we want to become better people. Okay, I'm going to read you a little quick quote from Simpli Tammy. My words: becoming sounds beautiful when we speak of purpose, success, and destiny. Yet what many fail to mention is the discomfort of the growth. Becoming requires stretching, surrendering, and sometimes standing alone for essence.
Oh, yes.
The pain isn't proof that you're transforming. Don't quit in the uncomfortable place. The woman you are becoming is worth every challenge you must endure to meet her. And I just finished the book, Women's Guide to Living, but I also just finished a second book of Becoming Her. The steps that I just mentioned in my quote for you is so important to understand that there's 8 process steps to take
It is.
in order, like A, B, C, D. You can't jump to W. You have to say the alphabet completely. And those are the steps. And part of that has to do with wanting to grow.
Absolutely.
And in order to become a new her, you have to, we spoke about this in the last podcast, you have to stop, you have to pause, and you're going to become in a uncomfortable space and place because the changes that you need to make will require you to stop moving, stop going to everybody's everything, require you to be alone for a long time. I have been, every time I try to go somewhere, God blocks it. The divine blocks it. He has made it where I sit alone and I listen to his direction, not my own. And I know when I'm going in a new direction or a different direction, whether I'm wrong or right. And these are the things you have to recognize when you are becoming her. And sit down with yourself. Say a prayer. Think about the things that you do that are not allowing you to progress. In the process of that, then we start journaling, write it down. What is it that makes you uncomfortable when you do it? You have to look at this in order to become a new you, because now the process is changing your mindset and having faith that you can surrender all of the old and that you can stand in the newness of what's going on and what's going to happen for you, okay? It's hard, and the devil always disguises certain things as devil will disguise it. And then too,
Leave me alone, devil.
I know.
Get thee behind me. Well, don't even get behind me because I don't want you to push me
I know.
in the wrong
I
direction.
know, right?
Get under my feet.
I know. So in that process of all of this, you have to start letting things go.
Yes.
Letting people go. Letting your presence in certain places go. This requires sitting still, which most of y'all cannot do because you don't understand the process. That there's been a calling on my life for a long time. I've never been a bad person. I've never treated people wrong. That's separate from becoming her. That's separate from growth. That's separate. You could say, I'm a good person all you want, but there are things you have to let go in order to become that greater, better person that you want to be. And the transformation, are you willing to do what it takes? not half step, not do the freak, not
Not
do the running man, to stop, be still, and do what God's called you to do, or be the better self that God has called you to be.
I absolutely agree. And, one of the strongest things we could ever do is make sure that we have a relationship with ourselves. Now, I'm sure we all have relationships with ourselves, but are we truly seeking to let go of old identities? We hold on to old identities. I had a conversation with myself recently, and I had to ask myself, am I still using things I learned when I was in the third grade? The things I learned in the third grade do not apply to me. The things that I had to use in the person that I had to be when I was 15 don't apply to me at a now 54 years old seasoned woman. Right. So I had to let go of old identities, even parts of me from an 8-year-old little girl. And I spoke about this in a recent post I did on social media when I talk about limited answered prayers. But that takes work, to speak on this side and see what I'm seeing in my life. I still remember the time where I couldn't see this far, where I couldn't see any of this. And I had to let go of old identities, whether it was parts of an 8-year-old girl who vowed to never let any hurt her or manipulate her, or was a teenage girl that had to understand that no, people are liars and you can't trust people, whether they're in your familiar circle or so-called friends. You cannot trust people. So, and I held on to these things. And those things built me along the way, which was the conception of pressure, which was all of these old identities that I felt I needed in order to function in life. So I had to learn how to let that go. I had to let that in. I had to let go of pieces of myself. We always talk about having the courage to let go and let God and let go of people. How do we look at that? We need to let go of pieces of ourselves, pieces of us that we've held on to so diligently because we think we still need those pieces of us. And I'm telling you, like Tam says, there is work to be done when we have to let go of old identities. And what happens with the person that we've been, it no longer fits in our future. It doesn't fit in our current situation. And how do we find space to honor who we were and where we've been, but to embrace and openly seek knowledge and understanding of who we are becoming? The person that I have yet to meet. At 54 years old, I've seen a lot of me. Baby, I've seen a lot of me. But also, on the other side of that, there is so much more of me ahead of me that I have to grow into, that I have to be still and listen and take direction on. I have to learn from other people because we don't have all the answers. God aligns us in places and spaces to be a light to others, but there's also people that He has aligned to be a light to us along our way and on our journey. We embrace all these different concepts from people and we take in all this information, but yet we have all this information and very little understanding. We don't know what to do with it. So how do we do that? How do we embrace? Everybody's talking about becoming. I want to become. I'm becoming. But it is a process and it is work. And when I tell you, it's hard work that I have enjoyed doing.
Me too. Even though there is pain involved, sacrifice involved, change involved, and the fearfulness that was there, you grow into understanding and away from the fearfulness when you sit down and you start understanding and you start listening. I'm listening to your sister, your folks, listening to what the divine is telling you, because there's two processes. You can sit down on your own or you can be sat down. There is. There is. And in the process, you have to choose which way you want to become the new you. I decided, back up. I didn't decide anything. God snatched me, sat me down. Every time I tried to reach, He blocked everything. I was alone, and I'm still in that space because that's where He has me, because that's where He's going to work on you. And And so this is what happens when you start listening to God and your friends start saying, while he's building that new you, that becoming her, and now they start sounding different to you.
Clarity.
Start sounding different to you. The same things that you all used to do, you don't do anymore. You're kind of now step back and you still see your friends doing and going. They may not understand the process that God is taking you through, but
And they don't need to.
and right. And you don't have to make them. You sit still and you stay the course. You have faith that where he has you, the space and place where he's taking you is the right place. We want to yell all the time, oh, God, help me. God, I have faith in God. But then your actions and your mouth are not in line with that. And you can't become a new her with lies and falsities, telling yourself lies. And you're listening to the outer. The devil will have people come before you.
Yes.
And it's up to you if you're listening to God to know that, oh, and you still sit still. While God is working on you, you'll start to see things move and change. And for me, you remember when I first started podcasting, I was nervous as hell. And sometimes I still get a little nervous. But all of a sudden, from that point to now, because I've sat with God, all of the beautiful things, it's like a garden just blooming with all these beautiful purple flowers, and you're just sitting there, and it's like a beautiful waterfall. That's what transpires, and that's what you see and you feel. So I've done everything that God has asked me to do, and I've released and let go. And in that uncomfortableness, I still stay faithful, even though sometimes I have to step back. No, because you will feel that step you're taking. No, the step you take over here, if it's not blocked, then you keep going. You understand what I'm saying? It's amazing.
It is. And it's really up to us to realize what that process looks like for each one of us, because it's going to look different.
Right.
But understand that when you feel the fear, you feel scared,
Right.
uncertain, growth often feels lonely and scary. And I often think about how in my old house, and then I was in a different space and was going through depression and anxiety. And I just had a yard. I mean, the grass was cut, and that was it. But as I started growing through and going through and growing through and developing, God sent somebody in my life that introduced me to plants and horticulture and things of that nature. And I had to get dirty.
Yeah.
I had to get down on my hands and knees and get dirty and dig and plant seeds. I had to water them. I had to watch the weather. I had to make sure I was planting in the right time. And as I was doing that, I realized it had become a lifestyle for me with my plants. And I ended up with 31 plants. 31 plants, front yard, backyard, and inside the house. But I had to realize that if I had never first of all, if I didn't receive the light, because the light came to me that was introducing me to this life of planting and plants. And I had to apologize. I was very rude to her. I was in a place, but I had no right to be rude I was rude to her. And I was like, you know what? I don't have time. Please don't come at me with that. I'm not interested. Just, if you're going to leave the plant, just drop it on the porch.
Right.
Just rude. You from a painful place, very painful place at the time.
Right.
And guess what? She kept coming. She kept coming.
There was a reason and purpose for that.
God was sending her. He was sending her. When I tell you, Miss Elsa didn't care about nothing I was saying when she rang, when I answered that door, she did not care. And she kept coming, and she became one of my best friends. I miss her very dearly. I need to go visit her. But that light kept coming. God kept sending her. And I had to get dirty and get in the dirt and plant the seeds. And so that I could that one day stand back and look at my front yard and look at all the beautiful blooms, flowers that were in my front yard and in my backyard that I have to take care of on a constant basis, pulling out the weeds, taking off the dead leaves, because some leaves on those plants are going to die. They have to die. You have to prune something.
Right.
So what are we willing to do so that we can shed away those old pieces of us that need to die? You can't keep holding on to the old shell. A snake sheds its skin.
It does. And you know what that reminds me? You know how people put on their wigs and they go out. They spend all that time getting the wig straight before they go out. Grandma, let's leave grandma. She used to do that little red powder puff.
That red sponge.
So that's what a lot of us do in life. We put on these wigs and go out.
Dressing it up.
And dress it up. And then we come back home when we
take it off. Sometimes come back, the wig crooked. You out there having a good time. Don't even know they had lopsided, lipstick smeared. But guess what? You was still out there doing everything you thought you was big enough to do with your crooked ass wig. But I'm going to say this. We're going to come back on the other side and give you some more points and just some suggestions on how you can embrace the you that you have yet to meet. We will see you on the other side.
Hey, sis.
Welcome back to the second part of today's conversation. And we're speaking about becoming her. We're just going to talk candidly about this topic. And the first thing I want to say is not every loss is a setback, because there have been things that we have lost that at the time were painful, but they were set up for,
It's a setup.
Total setup
For your next move.
for your next move. And you had no clue that that is what God was doing in your life. All you were doing was sitting in the discomfort and the pain, not understanding at the time the process. And I'm like, that's what God was doing. That's why this occurred, even though it wasn't in my mind. It wasn't what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's why we say, let him lead you. Because he will deter you from those roadblocks in your life. And I promise you, your future self will thank you if you sit down, take the time to change some of your ways. Now, what we're going to talk a little candidly here about, I know I have shared in my life, I have almost lost my life 4 times. That is a lot to even think about or deal with. I have been placed in situations and I go, how in the world did I end up with that person? How in the world did I walk out of a Dodge Challenger where that car was crumbled around me and I walked out with just a little scratch? I should have been gone. What was the process? What was God doing and showing me in that process? And I talked about it before, where he kept telling me not to go a certain way. He kept making things happen in the same spot every time, talking to me. Stop. You're not supposed to be going that way. Get off the full self. I was not listening. He ain't in despair. I didn't know where I was going, who I was, what the anything was. He was talking to me as he always had. I was in my own head and space and place, doing my own thing. And that's why I ended up in a car accident. That's why this happened. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Things that happened, and God saving me from. He was saving me from a future life of more hell. And that's not the space or place he wanted me in. And I had to recognize that, back up, and ask, why was this happening to me? So I met you all in the process of all my healing, and I realized God was pushing me into a new light, a new direction. And it's hard to talk about with all the pain. And yes, 2 divorces. 1 divorce 23, 1 divorce 24. Why was I even in the second one? I have no clue what's going on. But God knew. That's why he yanked me. The first one, I was with 40 years. Still, I felt God pulling me pulling me because I felt like I was a gerbil. You may put a gerbil in that wheel and then you just watch it go on. Something wasn't right. I needed to get right with God. And we often talk about having people around us that can help us get there, but I wanted to tithe, do what was right. The other half, maybe no, we do it here and there. No, getting in line with you is so important. And I gave up everything. I gave up everything, even the furniture. Okay. Because God had a calling on my life. And I have an aunt and a cousin that always said to me since I was little, you have a calling on your life. And I kept saying, what do they mean? Why are they telling me this? Now I understand what they were saying. It's coming out now because I've gotten away from the hindrances in my life. Okay. I'm literally sitting in God's hands every day, 24 hours a day, listening and maneuvering what He had me do. If I make a mistake, I need clarity. Why did I make this mistake? How do I not make it again? And Lord, I recognize. Let me back it up and change it. So, I mean, it's so much, Gayl. So much. And we know our stories. We know our stories.
It is a lot. And I have learned from you being vulnerable and transparent about your journey. I've learned a lot listening and gaining understanding. You know, I got to a point in time where I was blaming God. You know, I was like, but God, you allowed this. Why did you allow this? I want this. This feels good. I should have this. I deserve this, you know? And the thing about it all was we got to get out of our own way.
Right.
And through pain, heartache, confusion, pressing, I found out why that person was allowed. He was allowed. But it was for God's purpose to show me some things about myself. That person was my mirror for me to look at myself.
Yes.
And I don't know how I would have pressed through that part of my life without my sister here. Thank you for those hours. But it was God showing me things about myself in the pain and through the discomfort and not knowing. You don't have to understand it all when God is doing what God does. And I keep telling people, and I had to tell myself, God don't need no help guiding. And I am not qualified to help.
Right.
Because the fingerprints of what my help look like is not help. You know, and it's hard for us to see ourselves.
It is.
You know, we have time to point out stuff about other people and what they have going on and the little things they could do to be different and to grow. But have you turned that microscope around on yourself?
Yeah.
I have had God put some things in my face and I was like, dang, I didn't even know that about myself. There were some things that I wouldn't even openly admit to if this had not happened. And it allowed me to release some things that I was trying to hold on to. And I was trying to resurrect some stuff, baby. But it was like, ain't but one coming back after 3 days. And he done rose and already ascended into heaven. So we won't do no resurrecting around here. But I had to learn to let pieces, that's why I started seeing myself and the pieces of me that I had to let go along with that thing that I wanted. And when I tell you, when God takes some stuff from you that you're not prepared for, God talks to us.
He does.
He was talking to me the whole time, but no, I want this. No, this thing came like this. I want this. I should have this. And he said, no. And since you won't listen, I'm going to do it this way. Because I didn't listen. Now, this could have went a totally different way. But I was the author of my own pain. I did not listen. So he said, okay, I tried.
Yes.
You know, you give your kids a chance. Okay, I tried to tell you how to do it, but you don't want to do it that way. So we're going to do it this way. Boom, yeah, bang. Bingo, bango, pequeno. That's going. That's over.
Yes.
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So I had to realize the things that he was showing me about myself and understand that I was authoring my own pain and delaying myself by not listening. And he used a moment in my life. And in my still moment, he placed me somewhere in the stillness, what I thought was still, that turned out to be the jungle, baby. I was in that place and I was like, Lord, I don't live my life like this. Please, show me what to do. But I had to realize, and Tam helped me with this, he had to get me somewhere where I would be still, I was in the halfway house. I felt like I was in the halfway house because, I had to discern my time because I didn't listen. So now I'm almost about to get right. So he put me in the halfway house. Like you might be going to do right. But if not, I want to remind you of all this stuff that's out here that can distract you and tear you down and tear you away from what I'm going to have you do. Right. And when I promise you, do a lot of praying for myself, talking to myself, prayers from my sisters, prayer from our team and my family members who were in the know that I had to be in these places. And as uncomfortable as it was, as painful as, and I've heard somebody say, well, why I always got to go through something to get something? Because you're not going to be ready to receive what he has for you. Right. That is how you learn. Like kids. Why they always got to touch the stove and the stove is hot? Get burned that one time and I bet you won't put your hand back up there. We are not ready for the things that we are praying for. I wasn't ready for the things that I was hoping for and praying for. So he put that mirror in front of me, not just for me to see the things about myself, but to realize what I thought I wasn't really what I wanted, and it wasn't what I needed. And I wasn't supposed to be in that place. Mm-hmm. So he took me somewhere and got me quiet. Mm-hmm. And now today, to actually open my eyes and be in a place that I just had already discounted myself and thought I would never be. I was like, I can't, I ain't gonna be able to be there, but that's nice. And open up my eyes, and to God put me in that place. Yes. Again, it's a step. That's not my forever place, but baby, I sure love it. But when I tell you, you got to be willing to be still. The discomfort is not for you to abort the mission. The discomfort is you being stretched. And about a bow and arrow, I've used this before. You got to pull that thing all the way back as far as you could get it. And when you let it go, that arrow catapults farther than your eye can possibly see. Whether you hit a target or not, that arrow still goes in the direction it was pointed in. The stretching is a time for you to get quiet, because in the still moments, there's still growth. In the still moments, you're still learning. In the still moments, get to see yourself. Do not shy away from what you see about yourself, because we've been hiding from ourselves long enough. I hid from myself long enough. And I was happy to start unveiling the me, the her, unveiling her and becoming a new me and meeting her. Yes. And enjoying her. Honey, me and her is doing it. You understand me? Me and her are enjoying life. We're not existing. There's a life for you to live and to enjoy it abundantly. You got to unveil her. Yes. Greet her. Just because you don't know her doesn't mean you won't like her. Yeah.
You know what? I start finding myself at 55 years old, and this is almost 5 years ago, and I feel so good. Everything that's around me right now, God has positioned there. Okay, because we always talk about obedience and all the stuff we go through, because I followed instructions, okay? Oh, yeah, one podcast behind me, our podcast. Just wrote 4 books, 3 more coming out right now. I'm building 4 other brands on top of that. But this is all, it's not me doing it. Right. It's God taking my gifts and what he thinks he wanted me to do and accomplish. He's even reached back to some old stuff that I wanted to do. You all have seen it. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, my God.
And you had to be prepared.
I had to be prepared. This is what's funny is that I said last week, I feel like, I said this yesterday, I think, day before, I feel like I lost last week. And then lost last week. And somebody said, you didn't lose anything last week. You have already accomplished this, and this. And I said, well, and they said, no, listen.
Mind your mouth.
Listen, I thought about it. I was like, well, they were right. 100% right. I had accomplished and already done. Paying attention is important.
Mhm.
Because I wasn't paying attention at the time. I'd already accomplished it. God reveals things step by step, day by day, week by week.
In His time.
And in His
His time will always be the right time. And I say this as often as I possibly can. It is never the right time to be misaligned. It's never the right time to be in the wrong place with the wrong people for the right reason. It's still not the right time. God's timing is the perfect time. So we hope you enjoyed our conversation today in these topics. Feel free to email us if you have questions or you're looking for guidance, you're looking for a coach, you need resources. Email us at info@simplisisterspodcast.com. Visit our website at www.simplisisterspodcast.com. We are so happy that you stuck in and watched the entire episode. Go back and watch it as often as you need to. Share the Simpli Sisters podcast with a friend or someone that you love. We don't take it lightly that you are here. So we done already got the stamp of approval from the Lord, honey. He said it's time to wrap it up. So we will see you next Tuesday, 6 a.m.
Yes.
Come back and see us because you know it's always so much to talk about and we want you to make things happen beautifully.
We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.